So, Dave, you didn't want to get cozy and share that couch with Hugo?
Very, very comfortable with my metrosexuality.
Okay, well, welcome, everyone. We got a really exciting panel here. All three of them have a lot of experience, varied experience in investing in startups of all different sorts. We got Dave and Brian coming in from San Francisco, and we have Hugo here from London. So I'd like to start out by asking you, did you get a good photo?
I did. I'm trying to get this fucking room on. Don't usually see this many people. I want to show my mom.
Let's start off with what makes the best product to invest in. What do you consider a good product? Let's start with you.
What's the best product? Things that people use frequently and hopefully tell other people about.
I think it's a really good question. It means a lot of different things to different people, and I think it depends what business you're in. At Momondo Group, we're passionate about building products that our users love. I think putting users first is important. We think that it builds loyalty, and ultimately we want people to use our products and tell other people about our products. So call me a romantic, but I think putting users first is really important.
Yeah, I think, I basically agree. Whenever we talk about product, we always talk about user experience, right? Because we talk about like pricing strategy with our entrepreneurs, go-to-market strategy, but at the end, it's really like the user experience, right? I mean, if you can lock that in, then other strategies works much easier. Right?
But is it enough to have a good product? What else do you need?
No, I think it's not. And I think most of the startup world is in love with the idea of product. I think they're all fucking Steve Jobs, and they think all they need to do is build a great product, and then the product will sell itself, and they are completely fucking wrong. And actually, the dramatic change that's happened in the world really in the last 5-10 years is this like incredible adoption of mobile technology, of search and social technology, and it's a marketer's wet dream. The ability to tell people about your product is greater than it has ever been before, and generally we all suck at that. In fact, most especially engineers and people who are geeks who start companies tend to suck at that, and they think that it's beneath them to even learn anything about that. And they're mostly morons and idiots, and they should take a few classes in like psychology and learn more about marketing.
Okay, so I agree, but I also disagree. I think if you don't have the best product, you're living on borrowed time. Somebody's going to eat your lunch. The web, you're one click away from another competitor. Of course, other things are important. Speed, timing, an amazing team, because what's a great product today isn't going to be a great product tomorrow. So you've got to have a team who's got the foresight to adapt and cannibalize and move forwards. Marketing is incredibly important. I completely agree with you. The old days, if you got the best product, you only need 4 people to tell other 4 people to tell 4 people, and the whole world's using your product is kind of over.
But do you think that most products are naturally viral? Like,
No,
I don't think that by default
agree.
you get that.
I agree. Some are, some aren't. So no, marketing is incredibly important, and finding a profitable marketing strategy in an incredibly noisy world. It's a fantastic opportunity. We have a global opportunity, but everybody's in it. I mean, look at the energy and enthusiasm here. How many competitors are there in this one environment? To get yourself heard above other people is incredibly important, incredibly difficult. Having a great product that people want to talk about will be an advantage, but you do need a ruthless attention to profitable marketing strategy as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I may say, a team, go-to-market strategy, everything is all important. As a more like investor side, what I would like to emphasize though is, you'll probably hear user experience from my word like a couple more times today. It's just so important, right? When it all when you look at like say IoT, smart home, so many like services, we see many entrepreneurs who bring technology. I think user experience should not support technology. It should be the other way, right? Think about the user experience as the most important thing, because like technology should serve that, right? I mean, if I may, like YouTube, Dropcam, do you really know what technology is behind that? Not really, right? But my mom, my grandmother uses it very easily to see my kid, right? Every night. That is, to us, very important. I'm not saying that's the only thing, right? There's so much. But if you're thinking about building a product, please think about the user experience, right? That is the key, I believe.
I would also add to that, because when I was I was involved with a business called Cheap Flights, and I'm partly talking personal experience. We over-monetized, and we were very profitable. We grew very fast for a while, but we could have done better if we had got a user-centric vision at the core of our business. But then when I started a project to find a business we should acquire to help reinvent our business, I saw a lot of companies that focused on just product, but actually product is more than that. It's more than just user experience, it's brand as well. And when I heard Momondo talking about brand, it got me incredibly excited. It's about really engaging the user emotionally over and above just the knobs and dials on the website. It's about your tone of voice. It's about how you relate to them, how they relate to you. And I think the really powerful websites and businesses that do that extremely well as just product.
So Dave, you're saying there's other elements other than just a product being good. Have you had the experience or seen a product that's not good enough but has made it because of other reasons?
Yes, over and over and over again. Modestly good products with great marketing tend to win over great products with only so-so marketing. And I think there's definitely cases of a few like really amazing products that sell themselves, but those are the exception, not the rule. And generally speaking, again, people, leave marketing as something like left, at the end of developing a product to figure out, when actually I think the product, marketing is part of the design and usability of the product, and there really isn't a separation of the marketing from the product itself. So really starting with understanding the psychology of need behind the customer or the user, and really kind of almost reverse engineering product from the marketing. Like, it's actually, I wish we built products by doing, here's the picture campaign idea for the product, and then we go fucking build the product after like our tests on user psychology, whether they work or not. But I think, constantly there's great marketing with okay products that will win over less amazing ones. Sony Betamax, technically I would say Microsoft over Apple, at least in the early days. There's lots of examples of shitty technology that's won out because of great marketing.
Brian, I see you nodding your head over there. Do you agree?
Agree and disagree. Yeah.
Why do you disagree?
No, I don't necessarily disagree with the point of great marketing with a so-so product doing well. I mean, I definitely agree. From my standpoint of like a investor and meeting entrepreneurs, given life is short, if there's a chance to build something big, I just feel like it's better to rethink about the product again, not just product, right? But the whole like user experience, branding, like the overall experience being foremost like important thing. But I'm not necessarily disagreeing at all. It's just like it's a hard thing to just like put into one statement, I guess.
Well, let's shift over to when you're looking at an investment, whether it's early stage or a little later stage, are there certain commonalities that you see in these investments that attract you to a certain investment?
I would say not, no. I think the beauty of investing is that it's different things that excite you. At the core, there's going to be a great team who you can believe in. That has to be the most important thing. But no, I think the beauty of investing is actually there are no rules. Sometimes it's a great product that wows the world and everybody drops their jaw and everybody's talking about it. Sometimes it's because you have a team which is brilliant at marketing and perhaps weaker in other areas. There are no rules for success. Everybody does their own way. That's part of the beauty of it. It's an adventure. As an investor, I'm constantly learning from the people we invest in and the new people I meet. So, yeah, no rules for me.
I think for me, it's a interesting experience I had was when we talk to entrepreneurs, when they come in and present their idea, we tend to ask them some fundamental questions. Because most entrepreneurs are very good at market study, who's your competitors, what's the product, what's the strategy. They're very good. But when we really ask about, look, let's just talk about that later. Why do I have to think about using this service or product or technology? Can you just let me know, right? Not as an investor, but just like a person here, a customer. Why are you doing this? Interestingly, many times when we have exciting companies later on, when we go back to the time we were doing the investment decision, those founders had very fundamental answer to our questions. That means they really thought about it. It was really coming out from their pain point. it was not because it was just a nice business, cool technology, it could make good money. So if you're thinking about doing a startup or doing it already, I strongly recommend just thinking about that part. It's very interesting for us when we go back to the basic and ask things. That's when we're able to see some different level of kind of like detail. So,
I mean, I think it's easy to say great team, and I agree with that. It's really fucking hard to know a great team when you've had 3 meetings with them over the last like 6 weeks, and I think it's difficult unless you have a longer relationship with the team to make an evaluation just from a few investment meetings. I think most of our framework, because we're doing really early stage investing, is we don't have a lot of data to look at. And so most of our data is really trying out the product and seeing if it works and has it passed kind of the functional sniff test for us. Probably looking at existing customer metrics and seeing if those are working. And then really thinking about what's the sales process or the online marketing process going to look like, and is that something in particular that we can scale? And I think for us at least, that's a pretty significant differentiator in whether we make the investment or not. Are we looking at channels for scale that we think can really blow up quite quickly? And has the team de-risked the product at least a little bit in terms of usage? So I would say that actually a lot of our investment process does think about how does that company scale up on growth, but we take a lot of risk on other issues. In particular, we don't know whether the team is awesome or not when we invest most of the times.
Oh, Dave, you've looked at a lot of different companies and a lot of products across the board. What's an example that you've seen of a good product that failed and why?
Probably about half my portfolio, I guess. There's, I don't know. I don't want to nail any individual entrepreneur to a tree. I think there's a lot of great engineers and product people out there that we hope find a good marketing partner or design and UX partner. I would agree that usability, more than design, usability is probably one of the other issues we think about a lot. But constantly have seen overconfident engineers think that design is something that can be slapped on in the last minute, and that marketing and sales is something that can be left to somebody else, and they'll typically fire that person if they're not achieving those goals, rather than really internalizing that function and making it part of their job from day one. So we definitely want to. I'm an engineer by training, and I've moved over to the dark side of marketing and VC. But I think because I have that background, I understand how important it is for engineers to have great sales and marketing, partners on the team.
Right, you're playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
What about you, Hugo?
I think there are a whole load of reasons why companies I've invested in haven't succeeded. It's really complicated doing a startup. It's a very high risk area. I mean, it's hugely exciting. You've got a dream. You've got to hold the team together. You've got to get the finances going. Usually, I think people underestimate how much it costs to get people to your product. So I think marketing is often more expensive than you think, which is partly why I think it's great to have a really good product, so it can help to bring that cost down. I think that judging the amount of money you just need to run the operations and finding great team members to join you on the journey is incredibly hard. So I would just say risks are fraught, many reasons. I wouldn't put it.
For me, I would say like too much technology. Too much technology sometimes fails. We see companies bringing fantastic product. Everything makes sense. Just too much. I don't see myself using it in my daily life. In the meeting, it makes total sense. Like everything is smart. You can do this, you can do that with your phone and all that. And I go back home and I see myself just like, going back to traditional lifestyle and just like trying to like take rest. That's why I'm saying user experience again. I also don't want to name any company, but we do see many companies with fantastic technology. Too much.
I mean,
we have an imaginary character we talked about at Chief Lights called Aunt Agatha. So if Aunt Agatha can't use the product, then it's not good, not simple enough.
Right.
So when you see a company at the brink of perhaps failing or not making it, is there a way to rescue it or bring it back?
There's always opportunities for people to save their ass in the last few minutes of the game, but that's generally not the case. I think most times, you're not going to sink the three-pointer at the buzzer and like save the company. Usually, you build to some level of product market fit. You figure out ways to scale on marketing. I think the economics may change if you have competitors come into the market or other things happen, but I think probably the trajectory that you're on is the one that's going to continue without some massive change or exception.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a reason why people say fail, like do a fast failing, and if you're not doing fast failing and just failing, then it's probably better to just there's sunk cost thing. Like just many times it's better to just rethink. But I mean, it's tough.
I don't have anything to add to that one, I'm afraid.
Well, for the travel websites that you run, for example, I mean, in the internet or websites that you invest in, are there ways to recreate, rebrand, or there's ways to bring things like that back, right? When we're not talking about a product user experience, we're talking about an interface that can be changed more easily.
Sure. Well, I think you have to be continually challenging yourself to reinvent yourself. I mean, my experience at Cheap Flights was that we focused on a product that was too profitable, and we weren't user-friendly enough. We got sort of slightly addicted to Google free search and over-commercializing. So we've been through a period of reinvention, and it feels much better to have a product that we're proud of now, which is partly why I'm an evangelist for having great product, because we screwed up before and we didn't put the user first. And I think we'd have had an even more amazing business if we had done that. So I think it's a really good lesson to be continually thinking in business about putting the user first and making sure you're cannibalizing as you go along. Because if you let a few years go by, it's a lot harder then to cannibalize in one big chunk.
And what sort of investments are you looking at now?
What sort of investments? Well, we've got strict criteria. We love businesses where founders have shown some traction, shown some initiative, managed to make a difference on a small budget. But have a dream of making it bigger, a business that can be a £100 million business, because we're early stage investors. And yeah, we love things that change the world, but sometimes they're things that just make life a little easier.
Yeah, for us, it's we are very excited with virtual reality. So we are continuously looking into VR. Just made another investment. We believe all industry is tech industry now, so we're looking into some bold ideas, going after traditional business, traditional industry with a new model. We invest in some mobile company, not just web to mobile, but fundamental mobile lifestyle is different. I guess all of you here will go panic without your phone, right? So we're looking into those areas right now.
We're generally spending a lot of time still looking at e-commerce, SaaS, and marketplace all over the world. That's not generally the sexiest stuff out there. I think drones and VR and AI are sort of the sexy topics, but we like shit that makes money, and we think that opportunity is global and highly underrated.
And you're looking at quite a few things here in Asia as well.
We do. We've made over, I guess, probably about 1,200 investments. Probably about 30% of those are across 50 countries around the world, and just amazing opportunities every day in very, very big geographies, 100 million people, countries, Indonesia, Turkey, Brazil, starting to look at stuff that sounds even crazier than that. I think probably in the next year or so, I'd be surprised if we don't look at Nigeria and Pakistan and Iran.
Well, Hong Kong being where it's located, close to Shenzhen, close to the manufacturing hub, there are a lot of startups in the IoT space for you guys to look at. And that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you very much for joining us. If you'll join me in thanking the panelists.
Great.